Barack Obama's Katrina?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, time will tell. I mean, I don't think it'd be the end of the Obama administration. I think it was the end of the Bush administration. But people want results. At the end of the day, President Obama has laid out all these different things. When we talk about deficits, I remind everybody in this audience, 2/3 of these deficits were left over from the Bush administration. He talks about billionaire, billionaire. It was George Bush's prescription drug bill that cost $1 trillion, wasn't paid for. Iraq War, Afghanistan, and then, as I say, a tax cut for the top 1%. I remind everybody in this audience, under Bill Clinton, 22 million new jobs created, 2 years of surpluses, and a 10-year $5.6 trillion. He created more millionaires and billionaires than any president in modern history, but at the same time, more people moved out of poverty, and middle-class income was at an all-time high. Surpluses, job creation, that's what you get with the Democrats. Bush left office, there was a reason why he had the highest disapproval rating of any president in modern history. They don't say, I don't like your job, when they think you're doing a great thing. He left office with the highest disapproval rating. I'll let that number speak for itself.
You know Terry won't defend Obama when he starts trashing Bush and defending Clinton. That's a sure sign he's not willing to talk about the guy in charge. Let me say,
I spent half an hour talking about it.
Let me set a couple of things straight, because Terry, I don't know whether you're just ill-informed or disingenuous, but for example, the prescription drug benefit. It was scored by the Congressional Budget Office at $450 billion for the first 10 years. The competing Democrat plan was scored by the CBO at the same time at $850 billion for the first 10 years, and of course neither one was, quote, paid for. You know what has happened, Terry? Under the prescription drug benefit, more people signed up, they use it more, and they signed up quicker. And guess what? Because it is a first healthcare program delivered by private enterprise and competition, it is going to come in at $300 billion for the first 10 years, 1/3 less than the cost that the CBO estimated, and not the $1 trillion figure you so cavalierly threw around. If you want to come up with a source that shows the $1 trillion figure in writing from a credible source, I will double my contribution to the scholarship fund.
Good, I'll do it.
Also, one other thing. Let's be clear. The deficit from January 20th of last year to the end of the last fiscal year was $1.5 trillion on Obama's watch, with things like the stimulus bill, the S-chip expansion, and the 25% increase in discretionary domestic spending. The $1.4 trillion deficit in this fiscal year is his budget, and the projection for next year is approaching $1.2 trillion, all in his budget. He may want to blame it on Bush, but this happened on Barack Obama's watch, with Barack Obama's spending, which is driving this country to look like Greece on steroids.
Let me ask
I can tell you President Obama's approval rate is twice what George Bush's was.
Let me ask you a question about politics.
Oh, don't swear in front of these people. You swear in front of people.
When you go, the President Obama's approval rating today is 42% in the latest Rasmussen. You're telling me Bush's approval rating was 21%?
There's an AP poll out today.
You want to find me the poll that says Bush had a 21% job approval?
The average Karl is about 47, 48.
Well, take Gallup, 44%. And not only, but the strongly opposing Gallup outnumber the strongly disapprove, outnumber the strongly approved by 2 to 1.
Let me ask you a political question, Karl. We only have a few more minutes, and I want to get to the election. You have a situation in Arizona. A lot of people in this room are immigrants that care about the issue of immigration. In 2010, this is going to be the first year in American history when more babies are born to non-white mothers than white mothers. In the last election, only 28% of the electorate were white men over 30. You know how to count. You're a Republican strategist. How does the Republican Party survive in the future if in its anti-immigrant policies in places like Arizona drive Asian and Hispanic immigrants into the Democratic Party?
Yeah. Look, by having more days like last Tuesday, the Republicans nominated a woman for governor of California, a woman from the United States Senate from California, a Latino woman in New Mexico for governor, a Latino man for governor of Nevada, and an Indian American for governor of South Carolina. I think that's why we go out and get candidates who represent the diversity of America with conservative center-right values and run them for office. That's how. And we be thoughtful about the issue of immigration. I'm a proponent of comprehensive immigration reform. I believe President Bush did a courageous thing by taking on this issue. And let's be clear why it didn't pass. because we came to a moment where we had a delicate negotiation between Democrats like Ted Kennedy and Republicans in the Senate that agreed to have up to 94 amendments offered. So everybody have a chance to have an amendment made. They'd all have a chance to try and make the bill better. And if they did, fine. If they didn't, fine. But we had a chance to get some votes that people would say, if I have a chance to bring up my amendment, I may vote for the bill. And without consulting with Senator Kennedy, without consulting with the Republican sponsors of the bill, and without consulting with the Bush White House, Senator Harry Reid unilaterally pulled the bill down and ruined our chance to pass it. Because when all heck broke loose and he was forced to bring the bill back up, he could only bring it up under an obscure rule called 14B, which in essence said he had to limit the amendments to 5. And it ended up being lots of people that had felt they had a chance to improve the bill.
But when you ran President Bush's campaigns, and you're certainly fair in saying that you and President Bush both made an enormous effort to reach out to Hispanics. And President Bush got 44% of the Hispanic vote, if I'm not mistaken. John McCain's figure dropped to about a third, but among Hispanics who are under 30, 79% voted Democratic. When you look at those numbers, aren't you worried for the future ability of Republicans to attract immigrant voters?
Yeah, look, yes, but don't take one election. If you take, for example, look at the Hispanic population, it is the third most significant group in terms of its drop in support for Obama, exceeded only by sort of self-described independents and college-educated, and the next are Hispanics in terms of their drop for President Obama. So, and it's not just immigration. It's not just his failure to move on comprehensive immigration reform, to do anything substantive on it, and just to use it for election year politics. It is that there are a lot of voters that we ought to stop thinking about people just in blocks. We ought to be thinking about them as Americans first, and describing the values that unite us as a country, the diversity that unites us as a country, and not dividing people. And as a result, if we do that, if the party doesn't, and it can't do it by picking up a big stick and bashing immigrants, it just can't. It must.